Have you ever felt like the world is getting dumber? Not in the academic sense, but in a deeper, more disturbing way. As if we're collectively forgetting how to think. As if silence has become a threat. As if thought itself has been replaced by catchphrases, memes, and performative outrage. You open the internet, someone's screaming, someone else is mocking. Another person is blaming, and all of them are absolutely sure they're right. But something feels off, because deep down they all seem wrong, even when they're so sure of themselves. And then a quiet question rises like a whisper in the back of your mind. What if stupidity really is winning? And worse, what if I'm part of it? Most of us think we can spot stupidity a mile away. It's the politician who spreads lies. It's the influencer who gets famous dancing with zero substance. It's the coworker who falls for absurd conspiracies. It's that friend who shares fake news without even reading it. Stupidity is always out there. It's the other. That's the most comfortable story we tell ourselves. Because in that story, we are on the smart side. The critical thinkers, the conscious ones. The ones who get it. But here's the catch. That story is shallow, it's simplistic, and ironically, it's stupid, because it ignores a brutal truth. Stupidity isn't something some people have. It's something all people can fall into. Have you ever fallen into confirmation bias? Ever read only what aligned with your beliefs? Ever mocked someone just because they thought differently? Ever preferred a simple answer over a complex, uncomfortable truth? Then you've tasted it. Stupidity isn't a lack of intelligence, it's a refusal to go deeper. It's the lazy shortcut we all take when real thinking feels too heavy. But what is stupidity, really? If you think it's just not knowing, you're missing the point. You can have degrees and still be stupid. You can have access to infinite information and still be closed off. You can call yourself an intellectual and still be emotionally shallow. The kind of stupidity that's winning today is not ignorance. It's the refusal to think deeply. It's a defense mechanism, a psychological escape from the discomfort of becoming aware. Carl Jung once said, "Thinking is difficult. That's why most people judge." Judging is quick, easy, gratifying. Thinking, on the other hand, is an act of courage. It demands time, silence, and the willingness to be wrong. Nietzsche warned us, convictions are more dangerous enemies of truth than lies. Why? Because convictions protect us from uncertainty. And it's uncertainty that leads us to truth. But most people run from it, from chaos, from emptiness, from confusion. Gabor Mate reminds us, behind every dysfunctional behavior lies an unacknowledged pain. And maybe stupidity is just that, a socially accepted way to avoid the pain of real thinking. Because to think is to confront the abyss. It's to look at the world and realize nothing is as simple as it seems. It's to admit that we don't know, that we're fragile, that we're lost. Have you ever felt like that? Have you ever noticed that the more deeply you think about something, the fewer certainties you have? That's when you're thinking for real. Because real thought isn't a straight road, it's a dense forest, filled with shadows, contradictions, and dead ends. But most people prefer shortcuts, the already traveled path, the opinion of the crowd, the most liked post, the loudest hashtag. We live in a culture where depth is a punchline, where people who reflect are called intense, too much, weird, and where those who shout loudest get the most followers. Have you noticed? How many times have you held back a hard question just so you wouldn't seem difficult? How many times have you laughed at something that felt empty just to belong? Modern stupidity isn't silent. It's loud, smug, and performative. It goes viral, and you, without realizing it, may already be dancing with it. The first step out of stupidity is to admit that it lives inside you. Yes, you, not as a moral failing, but as a shadow. A psychological defense against the weight of becoming more conscious. Carl Jung called it the shadow. Everything we don't want to see in ourselves. Your shadow might be your intellectual arrogance, your tendency to ridicule others, your craving to always be right, your need to identify with a group, any group, that makes you feel special. And the truth is, we all do this. The only difference is, some people look at their shadow, others run from it. To think deeply today is an act of resistance, But it's not glamorous, it's lonely, it's slow, and often painful because consciousness destroys illusions, and we're addicted to them. We're addicted to thinking we're better, that we're already awake, that we're on the right side of history. But we're not. No one is. Because history doesn't have sides. It has complexities, and wisdom begins when you accept that. When you choose to stay silent instead of shouting, when you choose to doubt instead of assert. When you listen, not to win, but to understand. That's real lucidity. Not the kind that wants to convince, but the kind that wants to comprehend. Stupidity is winning, because thinking is exhausting, because reflecting takes time, because holding uncertainty is uncomfortable. But stupidity only keeps winning when the most conscious people give up. They stop having conversations, they stop asking questions. They stop listening. They stop holding the silence. Are you giving up? Maybe you still carry within you the spark of lucidity, but it's suffocating under all the noise. The urgency, the fear of not fitting in. You don't have to be just another distracted voice in the crowd. You can choose to think, choose to stop, choose the harder path, the longer path, the real path. And if it's true that stupidity is winning, then let your mind be the place where lucidity still resists, where doubt still breathes, where complexity still has room to grow. Are you willing to hold that? Or will you keep applauding the shouting, while truth bleeds out quietly? If this video made you think, don't let it die here. Share it with someone who still listens, someone who still feels, someone who still has the courage to doubt themselves. And if you want to keep walking this path, you already know where to find me. Right here, in the silence between one thought and the next, in the shadow where awareness begins to rise.